Hello, friends. And I see that I don't want to mess with it right now, or maybe I do. It might bother me that I have this white cat hair right in the middle of my screen. Steve here. Still Steve. Maybe I'll just change my name. Instead of Steven Stills, I'll be Still Steven. And he was a good guitarist, and I'm a really shaky guitarist. I've played for so many years. I think I got my guitar when I was probably 17, and so almost 60 years ago. And even after 60 years of playing guitar, just was not my instrument. I think my instrument was the piano, but a nun helped me to lose all interest in playing the piano at a very young age. I'm guessing I was about 7. And she discouraged me for being enthusiastic and not holding my hands properly. You're supposed to hold your hands a particular way, and if they weren't held that way, they would get hit by a wooden ruler. And I was a pretty sensitive kid anyway. I didn't need to get hit by a ruler to make me realize that piano playing was dangerous. That's enough of an intro. Now I'm going to go on to the post I wrote today because I just thought it would be really easier to write it out and think it out and then read it to you. And you can also read it as a post if you want to. So it starts off and says, "Hello, friends. Let's just go with the flow today. Last night I had yet another difficult night in the dream world, battling strong forces of the dark, like Luke Skywalker, Guardian of the Galaxy. When I woke up this morning, I felt completely exhausted and knew it was important to get the cats their morning meal and go back to bed to continue my energy work with the world healing field, which is what I was working in last night. But I tend to not do battle. But last night I found myself doing battle in the world healing field, and I've really given up battling any, dark forces because I have dark forces myself, and I think I've kind of used my power in ways that wasn't always useful in other lifetimes, and I'm just doing my best not to do this lifetime. And that was kind of an ad lib. If you read the post, it's not in there. So I'll go back to bed to continue my energy work with the world healing field. Ground, ground, ground that disturbance. Sometimes people express amazement about my grounding this disturbance for the past 6.5 years. And once I agree to do something, I tend to follow through with it no matter how hard. Sometimes, like when I was teaching BGI chiropractic, my agreement with myself and my co-creative partner was that I would stay with the teaching until it was no longer fun, and then I stopped. So my commitment for the past 6 years, and I didn't have the agreement with my guides that I would do it until it was no longer fun. So I just agreed to do it. And so my commitment for the past 6+ years and my deeper commitment now is to focus my attention of both spiritual awareness and healing, which are pretty much the same thing from my perspective. So this morning, and I spelled it morning, or morning, mourning, depending on my experience. This morning, I was clear that my focus would be best on what in the world is arising within me today. And it is rage. When I was a child, up through my late 20s, I was very aware of my father's unexpressed rage. He didn't take it out physically, but emotionally and mentally, he was a bit of a demon. Demon. I guess no D. It was often difficult to even be in a room with him, yet I felt somewhat safer if I was around him, as my brothers were less cruel when he was around. Less cruel. They were all cruel from my perspective, but I was a pretty sensitive kid. And now I'm a sensitive semi-adult and sensitive, you know, young person currently, and also getting elderly as well, although not really on any levels I can tell, but supposedly 75, you're starting to get up there. One time when I was driving and my daughter and stepdaughter were riding in the back seat, they had a conversation about how scary my anger was. And I turned around and said, "What?" And they said, "Exactly." I couldn't see it. Sometimes I can have such blinders on, even around my own energetics, even though I am an energy practitioner. I can only see what I can see, and just because I can't see it doesn't mean it isn't present. It's just not present to me. So this past 3 or 4 months, I've been clearing anger. And this morning, I reached the depths of rage. Underneath that was profound sadness, grief, and loss. And I managed to stay with it, to not get lost in it. And for the most part, I've come out the other side of this darkness. The reason I was able to do this, I attribute to 56 years of healing work, on myself and with others, and studying for the past 2 years with mystic trauma therapist Thomas Huebl, and an incredible amount of time practicing every single day. And I would say every single day for the past year. And as a result, I now get to play the virtual video game that is energy healing work at a whole nother level or other level. Today I was opening a healing field for myself, and I sent out a request to be supported by the guides of the new clients that have had 4 recent sessions. And all these new clients all came as a result of each other, but they all have the same guides. And the guides have been showing me how to work with these new clients. So I wanted their guides to work with me. So I wanted what they were having. And the response of these new other dimensional teachers was, follow the lead of your cats. And it was then that I noticed my cat was already on my pelvis, like she almost always is during client sessions. And my fairly recent helper, the black and white cat, she's been joining in regularly in healing sessions with clients for the past 2 months. So it was then that I began to pay attention to what the cats were doing, and I just went along for the ride. Again, like in the sessions the new clients have been experiencing, when I was working with their guides and helpers, who turns out are the same group, I just let everything flow and go. And within an hour or so, today, the laundering was complete. And so that is all for now. I might talk about kind of what I noticed in the process, but I think that's enough for now. And so I'm going to say, be well, and may everything serve you right. I'm going to see if I can get back to the video, because I was reading that off my YouTube channel. Okay, that was pretty much it. It was It was a magnificent day of healing, and I feel different. I don't know if I look different or sound different, because oftentimes if I have a rather large day of clearing something, I don't remember who I was before I cleared it. Because all of a sudden that's integrated, that's done, and I'm now the person I am with that integrated and done. So I don't quite recall. Like, people tell me how different I am, and I'll say, in what way? And then they'll describe it, and I go, oh, I don't even remember being that way, which is fine. The only thing that I tend to remember is what's not resolved. And that's why I make a good healer. Because with myself or with my clients, my only interest is resolution of the trauma that was experienced and isn't done yet. That's my only interest. And I am thinking of the possibility at some point in the future, and let's say maybe after this Mayan year is complete on July 24th. Maybe after that, when this Mayan year is complete, because it's has been a very volatile year of things crashing and just breaking up and wearing out, and yeah. But maybe at that time I'll do, and maybe before, but I doubt it. But maybe at that time I'll do some live healing sessions for, people who just show up. If I can figure out how to do a live session, which probably my stepdaughter can teach me to do that, then I'll do it at some point, and I'll just send out a notification that on this time I'm going to do a live session, and then hopefully if I remember to show up to do the live session, then we'll do it and we'll see what happens. And so that's good. That's all for now. And I just like to look at the time, and all that took place in 12 minutes and 27 seconds. All right. Be well, and I will probably see you soon.